Hey, good morning everybody. Welcome to the vlog. Today, I'm going to tell you what the difference is between this $20 ball python here and this $20,000 ball python right here. I mean, really, what is this thing made of, gold or something like that? It's more valuable pound for pound than precious metals. And we're at New England Reptile Distributors, one of the coolest ball python collections in the world. So we're going to get an opportunity to find out why these animals can be so radically different in pricing. This is actually a spider ball python. And back in the 90s when it was first produced, I think the first one that I bought, ironically enough, from New England Reptile Distributors was $25,000. That's right, these guys were $25,000. Now they're about $100. What basically happens is the rarity of the animal kind of becomes less rare as more people produce them. Keeping in mind that, again, these are all ball pythons, the same snake just with cool paint jobs. So the more crazy and rare the paint job, the more interesting and more valuable the animal becomes. Interestingly enough, it also depends on the actual mutation itself. Some mutations are in higher demand than others. So sometimes you can have a very complicated and hard animal to produce, but it may not be as valuable as another animal that's just in higher demand. Again, single gene animals really have become kind of mainstream and more like pets, and they're typically anywhere between $20 and $150. And that last animal with the spider was actually an incomplete dominant animal, meaning that when you breed it to a wild type or a normal ball python or whatever mutation is, about half the babies come out right off that first generation looking like that particular paint job. This particular animal is a piebald ball python. Of course, a recessive mutation, which makes it a little bit more difficult to reproduce. So what happens if you breed a pie to, say, a wild type normal, you get all normal looking babies that are heterozygous, meaning it takes one more generation to produce the visual or that phenotype, the paint job per se. So these animals usually retain their value a little bit more. Piebald ball pythons were produced by Pete Call probably like the mid 90s or something like that, and really was the first ball python, which basically set the ball python investment game on fire. These guys were $25,000 when they came out, and everyone had to have them, and that was the first time that people really valued ball pythons at that kind of value, and then it just kind of set the pace for everything after. And again, as you start to layer combinations like this albino GHI, the albino is a recessive mutation, the GHI is an incomplete dominant mutation, and this on top of it is actually heterozygous for piebald, just like the animal we just saw before. So basically the heterozygous increases the value as well. So you start getting into multiple recessive mutations or recessive and codominant, incomplete dominant mutations that are heterozygous and stuff like that. You start really elevating from an animal that might cost, $300 to $400. Now you're getting into an animal that might cost $600, $700, $800. It just keeps going up from there, but this is an absolute gorgeous animal for sure. And then this animal has one more gene in it than the last one. It's still an albino GHI, but the difference is now it has a toffee gene on it. But when you breed the toffee, which is a recessive mutation, so you basically have two recessive mutations, it acts what is called allelic, which means it reacts and has, instead of being a heterozygous or a double heterozygous, it actually comes through the first generation with all this purple looking things on it. So basically you have two recessive mutations and an incomplete dominant with the GHI, and oh my gosh, that is an absolute ripper. And again, now that you got more animals, it becomes more value, probably $1,000 snake. This happens to be a pastel highway ball python. Now the pastel has been around for a long time, and then the highway is actually an allelic animal between yellow belly and gravel, and it's just an absolutely beautiful snake. And oftentimes when you're talking about value of snakes, you certainly can look at the fact that if it's something that's stunning and really incredible, like an animal like this Kazoo doggy, that thing is amazing, it actually has a higher demand. Not necessarily meaning it's a really super expensive snake, because sometimes you can have snakes like this that are relatively inexpensive. This particular animal still might fetch $800 or $1,000, but in the old days, this was probably a $20,000 or $25,000 snake. But the rarity has kind of went down because more and more people are producing it. But nevertheless, beautiful animals often equal higher demand, which oftentimes equal higher price too. This one starts getting into some crazy stuff now. This is actually a spider, a recessive clown ball python, an EMG mutation that basically blows out the head pattern, as you can see right here, and then also an Enchi ball python. So there's a lot of mutations going on in it, 4 different mutations that combine together to make a relatively unique animal. The fact that the EMG kind of changes up the head pattern, much like Orange Dream does to clowns as well too, you start really seeing that there's a higher value amount on an animal like this. So again, more rare, unusual, definitely something you don't see too long. Now you start getting into animals that are cost several $1,000s. We're really starting to layer multiple genetics in it. This is a super pastel, it's a spider, it's a super Enchi, it's an odium, and it's a lucifer. It's also a het for piebald ball python. So you have all those unbelievable genes mixing together. Again, rarity, because they have so many genes and no one's really working with the type of stuff, like especially odium, which is a newer gene that really Kevin has kind of pioneered, and there's not a lot of them out there, so it makes the animal even that much more incredibly expensive and more rare. Something like this, you know, it's probably somewhere in the $5,000 range. I mean, just think about that. This ball python, even though it's a ball python, just like any other normal ball python, because of the complexity of the paint job and the mutations within it, it really just starts jacking the price up. It's pretty incredible. This thing is an absolute ripper. John, how are you, man?
John, where have you been lately?
Florida.
What were you doing in Florida? Woo!
I was visiting family.
Did you misbehave recently and get in trouble?
I didn't. No.
Okay, good. I heard a weird story. I heard you were being punished and you weren't allowed to come here.
Oh no, dude. Well, we're glad you're here. You keep.
No, he's actually John. How old are you?
I am 15.
15, and you're killing it.
And this guy right here, responsible. I asked him to do stuff. He will take the detail that I give him the way I want it. He will do exactly what I want. He comes with a very open mind. He loves being here. He loves reptiles, but he's very conscientious, and his work ethic is exceptional. And I have to point this out because this is a rare kid, and it really is. So I'm very appreciative to have somebody like that, because he'll be very important to this place. And I just found him on the street.
On the street, like literally
yeah,
on the street?
He's like begging for Pokemon cards.
Oh my gosh,
and
poor
I said,
John.
kid, I got something better. I got real life Pokemon.
Oh my gosh. Well, keep it up, dude, all right? You're a good guy. All right, man.
Okay, so it's Super Pastel, Enchi, Hidden Gene Woma, Granite, Pastel, Fader, and Clown.
Okay, gotcha.
Good?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
I am blown away at this animal. This is a 6-gene animal. I probably won't remember what those genes are. It's a Super Pastel. It's a Hidden Gene Woma. It's an Enchi. It's a Granite. It's a Yellow Belly. I think there's Inferno in it, and it's Het Clown. I don't know if I got those genes right, but nevertheless, look at this animal. Woo-hoo. I tell you what, I love this style. This is like my style of snake right here. So I was absolutely blown away when I saw this animal. I'm not exactly sure what it would cost because it's not for sale right now, but I'm assuming this is at least a $6,000 or $7,000 snake, and it would be worth it because that is an absolute beauty. I love this animal. I mean, just take a look at it. Oh my gosh. But as you can see, we're starting to layer stuff up. 6+ genes. You're starting to get pretty crazy. And again, it's the right 6 genes that makes kind of a Picasso type of an animal like this.
Odium, Het Pine.
Pastel, Enchi, stay right there. Yeah. Pastel, Enchi, Coral Glow, Fader, Odium, Het Pine.
Yellow Belly.
Yellow Belly. Pastel, Fader, Coral Glow, Enchi, Odium, Yellow Belly, Het Pine.
Sure, I'm confused now.
I think that's okay. Okay. It's crazy to have the opportunity to see animals like this in person. So I wanted to share it with you guys. Let me know in the comments which animal you like the best, if you're enjoying this video and stuff like that. Again, it's about putting the right combinations together. This is, I think, a Pastel, Enchi, Coral Glow, Odium, Yellow Belly, Fader, Het something. I don't know. Regardless, the right combination makes this ridiculous. I mean, all those genes together are incredible. And again, you know, myself, Kevin, people like this, we are kind of like living artists in a way, right? We're thinking if we add a dash of Odium, we add a dash of Enchi, we add a dash of this, we're going to make something amazing, not really knowing what the outcome is. We put the proverbial brush to canvas, we really don't know what's going to happen. And sometimes a true piece of art like this comes out and I'm blown away. And I can tell you this much, Kevin is really good at it. He knows what animals to put together, and some of these are blowing my mind. And sometimes you get just a one-off animal. This is actually what they would call a paradox animal. It's actually a Coral Glow, it's an axanthic, and it's a spider ball python. And it just kind of bled through what they call paradoxing, and it's a one-off animal. You know, there's no real way to reproduce this animal. And as far as value, it just depends. If someone wanted some really bizarre animal, I mean, let's face it, it literally looks like you just splotch paint all over it, and it's a one of a kind. You know, someone might be willing to pay, I don't know, tons of money for it, or maybe no one wants to pay money for it. Doesn't really matter. The fact is, it's still an unbelievably cool animal, and unfortunately, you can't reproduce it because it'd be super cool if you did. There is something that's called an atomic gene that does something similar to this, but not as extreme. But this one is just a one-off, and it's pretty freaking awesome. So this is a kind of subtle animal here. This is a Super Inferno Enchi, I don't remember any of it. I can't remember.
It's a hard one.
Okay, so do this. Just superimpose Jeremy's voice. This is a
Super Inferno, Botnose, Odium, Lucifer, Enchi, Fader.
Okay, great. So the point is there's a lot of animals in here, and keeping in mind the Inferno stuff is Hidden Gene Woma, Granite, Yellow Belly. Yes, I got it. All right, cool. So there's like, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 genes. And trust me, this snake costs a bit. And what I mean by a bit is probably like a Bitcoin, because, you know, Bitcoin's about $13,000. So it's a lot of genes, a lot of rarity, and pretty awesome snake. So this is an Enchi Inferno Lucifer. Again, the Inferno is Hidden Gene Woma, Granite, and Yellow Belly. And the thing is, getting back to that kind of artist thing, right, is that it's just like, again, an artist doesn't just paint a painting in a matter of minutes. Sometimes it can take years and years to get this living art. You know, an animal like this is probably 5, maybe even 6 years in the making, and some of the other stuff that we produce or Kevin produces or other ball python breeders produce, they might be working on it for the better part of a decade, you know. So you have to have the foresight to start really thinking about, like, what if I put this to this, what will it turn out to be? And sometimes it's amazing, sometimes it's a little bit falls short from what you expect, sometimes it actually blows you away. But the fact is, you have to have the knowledge of how genes interact with one another, and then hope that when they get put together, something amazing happens. And in many cases, I mean, the living art really does come through incredible. Whoa! Jeepers creepers. And honestly, guys, the hardest part about making this video is just figuring out what these animals are and trying to remember what's actually in them. I think this is an Orange Dream, Pinstripe, Spider, Enchi, Lucifer, Yellow Belly, Het Pied. So I think I got it right there. The point is that this combination is amazing. For whatever reason, the Orange Dream and the Spider and the Pinstripe really mix well together. That's what reduces the pattern, makes this unbelievably beautiful. I mean, I love it to death. Again, really living art. And much like I talked about before, you know, think about like the banana camo ball python that I was trying to go for, because what I'm trying to do is, like, I'm thinking in my head, how can I make a purple ball python? So I want to take something that is got very little pattern, that's very dark, like the camo ball python, right? Very little pattern, very dark, and I want to mix it with something where the dark pigment turns purple when I breed it to it, i.e. the banana or coral glow. So I'm trying to produce that banana camo, thinking it might be a purple snake. I might miss on it, it might not be a purple snake, and then I have to start over. And that's kind of the whole process of producing all these amazing kind of crazy living art animals, for sure. But this one is so absolutely incredible. Fire,
Enchi, Yellow Belly, Special, Possible Orange Dream.
Ah, okay, gotcha. so this is a Hidden Gene Woma, Special, Enchi, pop. This is a Hidden Gene Woma, Fire, Enchi, Yellow Belly, Special, Possible Orange Dream. It is hard, guys. I mean, because a lot of these animals you can't look at. You can certainly see the Hidden Gene Woma in this. You can see the Enchi coming through in this. I can't really see the Yellow Belly because it's kind of mixed in there. Obviously, it's a Special because the pairing was a crystal, and if you breed a crystal, everything has to be special. It's Possible Orange Dream. Can't really tell that. Regardless, I love the way the kind of orange pattern kind of peeks out on this and just kind of makes it unbelievable. I mean, this is, again, we're getting into rarefied air when we're holding snakes that literally there might only be 1, 2, 3 of these in the world at this point. So it's pretty much an honor for me to be able to mess with these animals, and hopefully you guys are enjoying as much as I am, because this is absolutely insane. But now for the crown jewel. And now on to the creme de la creme, the $20,000+ snake right here. This is actually a multi-gene animal. It is a Mojave, it's an Enchi, it's an Odium, it's a Hidden Gene Woma, and it's a Lucifer. So there's a lot of genes in this, and the fact that it's a rare animal that hardly anyone is working with, that is why it's worth what it's worth. Now, it's not going to always be a $20,000 snake. There's a chance that as these are produced more and other animals that are more rare and more sought after are produced, this one might come down to, who knows, maybe it'll be $100 here down the road. We really don't know, but as of now, this snake is literally valued at over $20,000. And it's like I've been saying this whole vlog, it's all about the rarity and the complexity and the demand for an animal like that. So it's pretty cool to be holding such a rare and unbelievably beautiful animal. And that's it, guys. I mean, that's what the difference is between a $20 and a $20,000 snake. Keeping in mind, they're all ball pythons, right? If you like this video, I actually did another video about difference in pricing right over over here. You can hit this whole playlist if you don't mind. Over here, you can hit that subscribe button, turn the post notification on if you don't mind. Have a wonderful day. You better be kind to someone. I promise. I'll see you guys tomorrow.